And welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today the Albino Rhino will be looking at a beer that he would never have been able to get, other than the greatness of the new LCBO home delivery system. So thank you for that. This is from Muskoka. It's a $7 750 milliliter bottle, so I'm basically paying $1 per 100 milliliters, which I guess I'm okay with. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, I was actually really intrigued about this beer, and I was really intrigued about this beer for the fact that I know what the base beer from Innocent Gun tastes like. For those of you that don't know, Innocent Gun is an oak-aged beer that was a ESB made and then aged in oak. And they were dumping a bunch of it out before they actually finally realized that the beer tasted good. And Innocent Gun Original, one of my favorite beers, was created. And I've said it's one of my favorite beers for the last 7 years, but it still is. I always have a couple cans of it on hand. And that from a guy that likes to only drink a beer once is pretty good. So this is Muskoka's Cream Ale and oak aged. So I was really intrigued by this because, again, I knew what the oak imparted to an ESB, but I wasn't sure what an oak would impart to a cream ale. Now, their cream ale is a little bit hoppier than what most cream ales are. Most cream ales are basically just an ale version of an adjunct lager. Like Labatt 50 is a cream ale. So I was intrigued on this one. It is 5% alcohol, which makes me realize that was probably virgin oak, which will probably make this a little more bitter than full-on flavorful. It might have some vanilla to it, but it won't pick up those like fig and newt type of flavors. Anyway, back here to celebrate 20 years of brewing great beer. Let's raise a glass to all of our fans, friends, and staff who have appreciated us every sip of the way, sorry, thank you. I haven't appreciated them every sip of the way. There are some Muskoka beers that I love, and there's some Muskoka beers that I don't really care for. What better glass to raise than one filled with this limited edition oak-aged cream ale created especially for this occasion. Now, when we talked about this beer on BDU, the big comment made was, why? Why? Who cares? Why? And, I mean, like I said, I'm really curious because I can understand why. When you take beers that aren't really known, like beer styles that aren't really known for having a huge amount of flavor, and you put them in wood, that wood shines through. And that can be really, really nice. Like I said, you take an ESB and you put it in oak, and you get Innocent Gun Original, and that's a great beer that I love. So I'm taking this, and I'm putting it in oak, and I'm intrigued by what I get. Now, everybody has said it's amazing, so I am intrigued on what I'm going to get. I did push it off to the side, because if the cork blows, I don't want it to blow into the light. Yeah, the cork blew. I love making the corks just fly. It's like the first time I had sex, it just flew. Now, when I go to show what this beer looks like, you're going to see a lot of bubbles stuck to the side, I think. And that's unfortunate. I did clean this with the bottle brush earlier today. The problem is that I still have not bought my new stuff to put down on the table, so instead of sitting it up like this like I've been doing lately so that the bubbles are only right down here, I put it upside down, trapped everything in. As you see, all the bubbles are leaving right away, so it was just watermarks. But yeah, that's a beautiful color, a beautiful orangey color, big head, off-white, big snap, crackle, pop, but the bubbles are fine. Not super, super fine, but they're fine bubbles. They're fine bubbles, if you know what I mean, guys. Fine. Those bubbles are fine. Visually, that's an appealing beer for me. Crystal clear, I can see right through it. See the carbonation moving. Beautiful color, though. Beautiful head. Beautiful glass, thanks to Big E for giving me this glass 3 years ago at the first Albino Rhino Beer Festival. Greatly appreciated. It survived 3 years in my household. That's an amazing feat too. Smell. Oh God, out of the bottle it's heavenly. I haven't gotten to the glass yet, but bottle, molasses. vanilla. You know what? Actually, just molasses and vanilla out of the bottle, and that's heavenly to me. I love that scent out of the glass. Vanilla and a little bit of those earthy floral hops that come with the actual cream ale. Let's try the beer. Cheers. Sorry, I put those bottles too close together, so every time I touch this table, because this is an excess cargo table for those of you that do not know excess cargo. I used to work at excess cargo as a shipping receiving guy and as the maintenance guy, like the service guy. When things came back returned, it was up to me to find out if they were actually damaged or not, because if they weren't damaged, they went back on the shelf because everything was refurbished anyway. And a lot of times people didn't want what they bought, and they'd come in and lie about something that couldn't be tested right then and there, and I'd have to test it. But yeah. So this table is from there. When they used to sell furniture, it was actually really good furniture. It was, for the most part, good stuff. It was just something slightly off on it, be it like a color stain or a screw missing or this and that, and the company would replace all this. If it was missing stuff, they'd replace it. This table, when you work there, you got stuff at cost. So this table, it came with 4 chairs that are all dead now, but this table cost me something like $30 at cost, which was amazing. Its problem is that it's not level, so it wobbles whenever you touch it. And because it's a centerpiece, like it's a center, it doesn't have legs, it has the one center podium. It also is not the most stable thing. Anyway, let's try the beer. Cheers. I still can't believe I have this this table like 14 years later. No, probably 13 or 12 years, because I bought this when I lived in St. Catharines. So yeah, like 12 years later, this table's still around. None of the chairs survived, but the table did. It has a lot of problems, but it survived. Okay, so oak aged cream ale. Kind of like Innocent Gun Light to me. So, sort of like, what was that company? Ewart got me a bottle of their beer once. It was it had a horse head. It was Kentucky. I think it was Kentucky Oak Aged Ale or something. Kentucky Brewing Company or Livingston Brewing Company in Livingston, Kentucky, or something like that. I know it was from Kentucky. And they made actually, you know what? Even further back, this is kind of like a Rickard's Oak Heart. No, was it Oak Heart? What was it called? Their oak one. Was it Oak Heart? I think it was Oak Heart. The Rickard's Oak beer, which I always said was an Innocent Gun Light. This reminds me of that too. So it reminds me of both of those in that the wood does show through, but the because the wood wasn't maturated in anything, it was just virgin. It doesn't actually add all that much. There's a little bit of an oaky tannin to it, a little bit of vanilla, and a little bit of unrefined like molasses flavor, and that's about it. Now, the oaky tannins mix with the earthy hops to create the finish of this beer. The vanilla mixes with the forefront, mixing with the malt of this, mixing with some molasses, and mixing with a little bit of just again unrefined sugars. So there's a bit of unrefined sugariness, a lot of vanilla, a bit of malt, and a bit of molasses up at the forefront. Middle of the beer, the oaky tannins start, and you still have the vanilla and the molasses. End of the beer, there's just a tapering off of the vanilla, and you get the oak tannins a lot more, and you get the hops. So all in all, this is a well-rounded beer. all in all, this is a good beer. All in all, for $6.95, I would probably buy this beer because I'm getting a 750 of it, and I actually really do enjoy the taste. Now, I could get, for the same price as this beer, 2 cans of Innocent Gun Original, which I do like more than this beer. But every once in a while, I sit there and I say, sometimes something else is better. I mean, yes, Innocent Gun Original is higher ABV and cheaper, and I do like the taste better, but this is a beer that I could actually get behind and enjoy. So, I don't care all that much. The more I drink it, the more the vanilla shows up, too, which makes me like it more and more. The more I drink it, the more it's surpassing the Rickard's Oakhart and going towards the Livingston Brewing Company beer. Still a Innocent Gun light to me, but exactly what I would like. There's 2 things I want with an oak-aged beer. I want either a beer that was specifically crafted for the barrel. I don't want you to brew a beer and be like, hey, here's my regular IPA, let's see what happens when I throw it in a barrel. Unless you make a beer that's a fairly neutral style and you throw it in the barrel or the wood. Like, I would love that on the 21st anniversary they do a cherry wood version, and then on the 22nd they do a maple wood, and, just shit like that. Show me what each different wood will bring out of the beer. That would be something cool. You know what, Gary? Do that. Every year, take your cream ale and age it on a different type of wood. Excuse me, guys. Out of 10, an 8.5. I really do enjoy this beer. And at $7 a bottle, I don't find it all that bad because this is a 750. It's not like a 500. It's not a 333 or a 355. I don't mind paying that for this. I don't. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll drink the rest of this while I watch an episode of Family Guy. Bye.